Hello everyone, I am Shalini Prabhatewari, an alumni and teacher in SOS Herman Minor School, Chaubipur, Varanasi. Today, you are going through the pages of Think Big, a renowned motivational book written by none other than our respected principal sir, Dr. A.P. Gaur sir. And today's chapter of discussion is Come Out of Your Narrow and Traditional Thinking. Please go through the chapter and do share with your friends and family. And don't forget to like and subscribe our video and channel. Thank you so much.
Hello friends, you are going through the pages of Think Big, the book on motivation and leadership. And I'm your favorite author, Dr. Ambika Prasad Gaur. Today's topic is Come Out of Your Narrow and Traditional Thinking. I repeat, today's topic is Come Out of Your Narrow and Traditional Thinking. Sometimes people come into our life and you know right away that they were meant to be there to serve some sort of purpose, teach you a lesson, or to help you figure out who you are or what you want to become. You never know who those people may be. A roommate, a neighbor, a professor, a friend, a lover, or even a complete stranger. But when you lock eyes with them, you know at that very moment that they will affect your life in some profound way. Sometimes things happen to you that may seem horrible, painful, and unfair at first. But in reflection, you find that without overcoming those obstacles, you would have never realized your potential, strength, willpower, or heart. Illness, injury, love, lost moments of true greatness, and sheer stupidity all occur to test the limits of your soul. Without these small tests, whatever they may be, life would be like a smooth, paved, straight, flat road to nowhere. It would be safe and comfortable, but dull and utterly pointless. The people you meet who affect your life and the success and downfalls you experience help to create who you are and who you become. Even the bad experiences can be learned from. In fact, they are sometimes the most important ones. If someone loves you, give love back to him in whatever way you can. Not only because he loves you, but because in a way he is teaching you to love and how to open your heart and eyes to things. If someone hurts you, betrays you, or breaks your heart, forgive him, for he has helped you learn about trust and the importance of being cautious to whom you open your heart. Make every day count, appreciate every moment, and take from those moments everything that you possibly can, for you may never be able to experience it again. Talk to people that you have never talked to before and listen to what they have to say. Let yourself fall in love, break free, and set your sights high. Hold your head up because you have every right to. Tell yourself you are a great individual and believe in yourself. For if you don't believe in yourself, it will be hard for others to believe in you. You can make anything you wish of your life. Create your own life and then go out and live it with absolutely no regrets. And if you love someone, tell him or tell her, for you never know what tomorrow may have in store. Learn a lesson in life each day that you live. Today is the tomorrow you are worried about yesterday. Think about it. Was it worth it? Come out of the ways you used to think. Think differently. Come out of the traditional thinking. Life is not just what you think. It cannot be of your taste every time. It should be lived situational, not as per choice. Life has to tell you one or the other lesson every time, every moment. So it is wiser to act strategically rather than wishfully. Following are some examples for all of us to follow. Number one story is prison help. An old man lived alone in a village. He wanted to spade his potato garden, but it was very hard work. His only son, who would have helped him, was in prison. The old man wrote a letter to his son and mentioned his situation. Dear son, I am feeling pretty bad because it looks like I won't be able to plant my potato garden this year. I hate to miss doing the garden because your mother always loved planting time. I am just getting too old to be digging up a garden plot. If you are here, all my troubles would be over. I know you would dig the plot for me if you weren't in prison. Love, Dad. Shortly, the old man received this telegram. For heaven's sake, Dad, don't dig up the garden. That is where I breed the guns. At 4 a.m. the next morning, a dozen Secret Service agents and local police officers showed up and dug up the entire garden without finding any guns. Confused, the old man wrote another letter to his son, telling him what had happened and asked him what to do next. His son's reply was, "Go ahead and plant your potatoes, Dad. It is the best I could do for you from here." Moral: no matter where you are in the world, if you have decided to do something deep from your heart, you can do it. It is the thought that matters, not where you are or where the person is. So, come out of your traditional thinking and think differently to get different results. Another story is unlearning is also important. Most people like to tread upon the path shown to them in their earlier stages of growing. They even don't want to give it a second thought, however useless the beaten track may be. The reality is, their parents and grandparents might have chosen the path under some compulsion and succeeded under the circumstances, but it is not necessarily true that the coming generations too will be successful given the time gap, generation gap, and different set of circumstances. Here goes a story of a young engineer who once asked his newlywed wife to prepare some pakoras for him. The wife, eager as she was to provide everything demanded by the newly acquired husband, did not waste a minute to get into the kitchen and started working on the food item. The young engineer waited for some time with watering mouth, but when it took quite long, he could not resist getting inside the kitchen. "It's taking too long, darling. Why have you filled the vessel only up to 1/3 level? You fill it up to the brim so that pakoras are made quickly," suggested the hubby with tender voice. "Out! Be out of the kitchen right now. My mother makes best pakoras in the world, and that's how she has taught me to make them. She can never be wrong. You wait till I bring you the best quality pakoras," said the wife in a tone mixed up with anger, love, and a sense of pride. Anyway, the pakoras were served to the young engineer by the wife, and he relished them too, but he made up his mind to see his mother-in-law prepare the same. So, very next morning, the young couple reached the mother's place, who lived in the same city, and the engineer immediately demanded for the delicious pakoras. As the mother-in-law got into the business, he found an excuse to enter the kitchen to see the lady prepare pakoras. To his surprise, here too, the middle-aged lady had filled vegetable oil up to 1/3 level of the vessel. The lady was amused to see her son-in-law taking keen interest in the process, but the man was not. He questioned her style of functioning, and it was obvious that she was a bit annoyed and said angrily, "See, my son, it was the way my mother used to make pakoras, and she cooked finest quality of them. Now, no more questions. Wait outside with my daughter and taste the finest quality of my preparation. The young engineer had no choice but to oblige. He enjoyed pakoras, no doubt, but planned to meet the great lady who was a role model to his mother-in-law and his wife too. As the grandmother-in-law stayed in a different city, the young man had to wait for a week before tasting the pakoras. There he was happy to see the old lady prepare pakoras with her trembling hands, but the vessel filled with oil up to the brim. Here he did not have to wait for long to taste the delicious pakoras. While consuming the delicacy, he inquired of his grandmother-in-law, Nani, your daughter and granddaughter make delicious pakoras like you, but they take it long to cook because I think they don't fill up the vessel with proper quantity of oil and claim that you had taught them the same. I am really surprised to see you proving them wrong. Oh ho, see my son. Actually, when my daughter, means your mother-in-law, was young, we were not well off. At that time, I had only one kadai, and that's too having a hole at 1/3 mark. That is the reason why I was not able to fill up the kadai after 1/3 level, and the poor creature had learned the same thing, said the old lady and started laughing. And then my wife also learned the same wrong way of making pakoras from her mother. Oh my God, 2 generations passed and the wrong information once imparted could not be detected. How strange are the ways of traditional learning. One wrong learning takes generations to unlearn that, said the young engineer, enjoying another piece of pakoras. So the crux of the thing is, please unlearn certain wrong learning which you are carrying with you for ages, like keeping religious books wrapped in red cloths and lighting diyas before them, touching them with your forehead and burning incentive sticks before them. Actually, those books are to be read daily and the great teachings within are to be practiced to make our lives more meaningful and worth living. Now there is another story. Be positive, don't complain every time. What we say is important. Our vocabulary should be filled with words of hope and dreams. Be known as someone who speaks positive. Our words create our worlds, goes one saying. Our words have the power to start fires or quench passion. Don't be like the man who joined a monastery in which the monks were allowed to speak only 2 words every 7 years. After the first 7 years has passed, the new man met with the chief priest who asked him, "Well, what are your 2 words? Food's bad," replied the man, who then went back to his silence again. 7 years later, the clergyman again asked, "What are your 2 words now?" "Bed's hard," the man responded. 7 years later again, 21 years after his initial entry into the monastery, the man met with the chief priest for the third and final time. "And what are your 2 words this time?" the clergyman again asked. "I quit." "Well, I'm not surprised," the cleric answered disgustedly. "All you have done since you got here is complaining." So, dear friends, don't be like that man. Don't be known as a person whose only words are negative. If you are a member of the negative grapevine, resign. Contrary to what you may have heard, talk is not cheap, talk is powerful. Thank you very much for watching.